Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. So the landscape on the UFO alien disclosure has just gone. It's just gone international. So the Japanese are now releasing UFO files, and there is a lot of movement at the moment, guys. There is. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today. I'm going to also be focusing on a new article that was out today. From the Daily Mail. These UFO files were just the start. Government insiders reveal a holy crap moment is coming next. I should have had that on the show. Do you know what? I'm going to change the title to this. So that's what they're saying, that there is a holy crap moment coming next, and there's going to be a bombshell conclusive proof of extraterrestrial life. That's not me, guys. I'm not saying that. That's not me speculating. That is these are articles that are now articles that are being released on the mainstream media. So whatever your take on this, whether you guys think little green men are here in tin cans, I personally don't. I think there's something else happening. But whatever your thoughts on this, particular topic are, nobody can deny that the direction of travel right now is only heading one way, and it does look like more information is coming out about UFO files. And like I just said, Japan, we love the Japanese. The Japanese are now, in fact, let me share this real quick. Japan confirms, this is today, Japan confirms possession of UAP footage after reviewing Pentagon videos near Japanese airspace. So those footages, those images, as I understand it, they are going to be coming out soon. Right, listen, guys, I don't know if you can hear this rain or not, but it's really loud here. It's like hailstone or something. So in Japan, listen, I think Japan's awesome. I've never been. I would love to go to Japan. I really would. Those guys seem to have everything on lockdown. So in Japan, a bipartisan group of lawmakers are preparing to submit formal recommendations to the government on how to handle unidentified aerial phenomena, what we used to call UFOs. Now, the so-called UFO Parliamentary League, which includes around 80 politicians from across parties, plans to hand its document to the Chief Cabinet Secretary, Minoru Karuchi, in the coming days. The proposals are expected to call for a dedicated government office to investigate sightings. And listen, guys, if I'm being honest, and I normally am, I'm always honest, right? If I'm being honest, I can't think of a better nation who I would want to lead. If there was like an international, if there had to be an international UAP committee, I would say let the Japanese run with that. I would, guys. I would absolutely say let the Japanese run with that. Now, they want better coordination between ministries and closer cooperation with international allies. So what I'm seeing here is some sort of international group or an international task force that will go to every different nation, get all the information and try and correlate it. You know, okay, what happened here on this day? Okay, well, we saw this at that day. Then we saw this over there, because a lot of this information is kept secret. Obviously, the Americans are keeping it secret. The British, and there's a British angle on this as well, guys. There's a British angle on this. The British keep this secret. Everyone keeps it secret, right? Because a lot of this stuff, you can only pick it up on with military apparatus. So if you release the images or the footage or the proof, what that does is lets the bad guys know what detection capability that you have, right? Guys, that rain is pretty epic, right? However, The content of the document must now be revised, which this follows the United States' recent release of a large batch of classified UFO files, some of which involve incidents close to Japanese airspace and waters. So this is why the Japanese are coming out now. The Japanese have confirmed that they are reviewing the American material with great interest. Chief Cabinet Secretary Kurochi said the decision on releasing any Japanese files, honestly, this is so ridiculous, will be made on a case-by-case basis, balancing national security with transparency. The Japanese group is also planning a formal launch of their own unidentified aerial phenomena clarification league in June. So they're going to be, so the Japanese in June, which is like, weeks away, are going to start to release their own information, right? This move reflects a growing seriousness. Now, this is the thing, right? This growing, this dynamic change now, where talking about UFOs, UAPs, it's no longer fringe, it's now mainstream. And people are treating this now as a legitimate issue of aviation safety and national defense, which it absolutely is, guys. It's absolute. Like, can you imagine, right? Let's just go down the wild. Let's go down Wild Avenue, right? And we're going to be knocking at Crazy Door. Let's walk down Wild Avenue and knock on number Crazy. So just imagine, right, that this is some sort of trans-dimensional entity that can jump in and out of reality, like the Book of Enoch says. Think about that. Like, that means that something could just appear next to the king while he's doing his king's speech. It could just appear at Wembley Stadium. It could just appear inside a nuclear silo. So, kind of has big implications for aerospace and defense, which clearly is something that shouldn't be dismissed. While there is no suggestion of extraterrestrial activity in the latest developments, the focus remains firmly on gathering better data and understanding what these objects might be. So we have gone from UFOs are not real, it's all fake, to what actually are they? What are they? So I've got some videos to share with you guys as well. What is it? This one? Not that one. I've got two videos to share with you guys. So I'm going to share this. This is, well, let's share the video first.
In March 2011, the world was shaken by a massive earthquake in Japan that caused widespread destruction and devastation. But the earthquake also triggered a mysterious event at a nuclear power plant in Fukushima.
Okay, so we all know what happened in Fukushima, right? And we are getting these, we are getting this time and time again. Nuclear UFOs, nuclear and UFOs. This, the first time, this is kind of what got me onto this. When I talk about nuclear weapons, right? And I don't think a nuclear weapon will ever be used in combat. I don't think a nuclear weapon will ever be used in combat. Now, I know that's crazy, and I know it's wild, and I know nobody wants to think of that because everybody wants to, the nuclear weapons. Back in 1969, I think it was 60. There's a base basically in the United States. It's called the Maelstrom. It's called the Maelstrom nuclear silo incident or UFO incident. What happened was there was this, secret base. It had, I think, 10 nuclear missiles, fully armed, ready to go, in missile silos, ready to pop at a moment's notice to move. And this is well documented. There was a guy called Robert Salas. He's come out, and he was the initial whistleblower. And he came out and he said, listen, I was the security captain, or the guy in charge of security that day. He was in the military. And there were UFOs, orbs, whatever you want to call them, flying above the base. And all our systems just went off. All the systems went off. Nobody knows how they went off. And then they just came back on. The technicians, they troubleshoot everything. They couldn't find how they just turned off, right? But they did. That's what they're saying. So you get this correlation all the time between nuclear facilities and UFOs, UAPs, right? And everybody wants to look for this. If you want to, people are trying to look for this information about, back-engineered craft and, UFOs, UAPs. They're all trying to look at these at the Ministry of Defense, at the defense contractors. I would say it's hidden in the energy sector. I would say it's absolutely hidden in the energy sector. You can claim. Honestly, I've got a friend. Who works on. He does security on nuclear. Nuclear power plants. That's what I'm looking for. I was trying to say submarine. He does security on nuclear power plants. I was in Ukraine, right? And they were asking a question about nuclear stuff. And I said, I've got a mate who works there. I'll phone him up. Jesus, you should have seen the crack and everybody jumping up, going out their seats. I'm like, what? He's my mate. I talk to him all the time. He's like, no, you can't talk about that stuff over the phone. I'm like, you should listen to some of my conversations. So there is a big thing, and there's a lot of secrecy involving nuclear stuff, right? There's no denying it. So this is a video, allegedly, from Fukushima in 2011. Sorry, it's only 30 seconds long.
In March 2011, the world was shaken by a massive earthquake in Japan that caused widespread destruction and devastation. But the earthquake also triggered a mysterious event at a nuclear power plant in Fukushima. After the accident, 10 strange objects appeared in the sky above the damaged reactor and hovered over the site for several hours before disappearing into the night.
Several hours? I'm starting to look at this now, and there's, for me, normally when I look at these lights, right, I'm like, what does that mean? It means nothing. And I gloss over it. I do. I gloss over these lights. Oh, there's some orbs, some little lights. And I honestly, I just totally gloss over it. Do you think there could be portals? Do you think those orbs are not actually here? They're portals to another dimension. And what that is people looking through into our reality. So that's what it says on the Book of Enoch.
The UFOs were there for a reason. It's well known that UFOs have a keen interest in our nuclear technology, and the Fukushima incident may have caught their attention. Were they there to monitor the situation, or perhaps to intervene in? So let's just consider for a while. Let's go down Crazy Street. Let's go down Crazy Street, right? And let's go down Crazy Street, and let's say that there's no such thing as UFOs. They're not real. What we see as unidentified aerial phenomena is actually a rip or a tear in space-time and someone peering through. I think I've just cracked it, guys. Honestly, I think I've just cracked it. And they're moving around and looking. That's why they move so quick. Imagine it, right? Imagine if you've got your finger on a piece of paper and you're looking, you're moving around. Very easy. Maybe that's what it is. Which would directly relate to the Book of Enoch. Again, I only read the Book of Enoch because this woman on, what's her name?
Anna Paulina Luna, whatever her name is, said read the Book of Enoch. Right, I've got another video to share with you guys, okay? So this video now is from the United Kingdom. I've not watched it. There is a councillor in Yorkshire who wants a UFO inquiry panel to be established due to the recent increase in local sightings. So apparently there's lots of UAP sightings over Yorkshire. So let me share this video with you guys as well.
So established, and it's been a topic that seems no one wants to cover. Given the verified unidentified anomaly phenomena, UAP activity, recorded directly over an immediate vicinity of Doncaster Sheffield Airport, and in line with NASA's recommendations.
What? Let me Google this. I literally live like, that's my local airport. Hang on. No, I can't find it.
For evidence-based UAP oversight focused on aviation safety, I move to make the suggestion that full council establishes a temporary Doncaster UAP overview and safety committee or panel. And it's
So that's where we are now, guys. We have a Doncaster UAP committee. I might try and get on that. Do you know what? I'm going to email this guy. His name is Kieran Lay. His name's Kieran Lay. I'm going to reach out to that guy. Let me see if he's got an X. Do you know what? I'm going to try and reach out to that guy. His name's Kieran Lay. A Reform UK councillor proposed monitoring unidentified anomalous phenomena, unidentified aerial phenomena, anomalous phenomena. Councillor Kieran Lay suggested forming a Doncaster UAP overview and safety committee panel. I am down with this, guys. I am absolutely down with this. Sorry, let me just scroll down. Wow, I didn't realize it was in. I didn't realize that was in Doncaster. So this whole scenario, this whole shebang. UFOs, UAPs, what aliens, extraterrestrials, whatever it is. Somebody was on the chat earlier and they asked me a question. They said, Sean, what would you like? What happens? Like, let's just say, for example, right, that tomorrow it happens and there's UFO disclosure and, we just find out that aliens are real. Then what? And this is something I guess I've been considering myself. You would still have to go to work. You would still have to pay your bills. But I think everything would just feel like, I think you would get two camps. You get two camps, you would. You would get my camp, which is, no, not Mein Kampf. You would get two camps, right? You get my camp, which would be, wow, this changes everything. Literally everything. This changes everything. This changes history. This changes physics. All the school textbooks in science, they need to be rewritten. Literally, this is dawning in a new age of revelation, right? And then there's the other camp, like my dad, who's like, meh, not bothered. Still have to MOT my car on Monday. So let me jump onto the chat, guys. Santi Todd is saying they think we can't handle the truth. Right, to play to play devil's advocate, if the truth was humans are a livestock to be harvested, I don't think we could handle that truth. Rod Panhard is saying the other camp would be what absolute nonsense. Okay, so in my scenario, the proof is undeniable, right? Literally, the proof is undeniable. You can't deny it. So, like, you can't deny that it gets dark at night, right? There is no denying. You can't say it's nonsense that it gets dark at night. So, in my scenario, but yeah, I understand that a lot of people are going to be throwing counterclaims out. Truth be told, does not want digital ID. David is saying everything would feel a bit more pointless. It would, for sure, especially working for the government. Chris is saying it's all BS. Okay, I agree. I absolutely agree. It may all be BS, right? It absolutely may be. But the two sides of this, if it is all, in fact, Chris, I don't know if you're still on, Chris, but I'd like you to answer this question. And I don't know, I don't know the answer to this, right? But if you're still on, Chris, can you please answer? If it is all BS, why are they doing it? Like, why are the Japanese doing it? Why are people? Why are Yorkshire councillors doing it? Why is the United States doing it? Why is what's all this hype? Where's it going? Right? I don't know if you was on my live stream earlier on today. What I said was, there's always a few ways you can look at things. You can look at how the media are reporting on something, and then you can look at the event itself. Now, I'll be honest, I have not seen anything. I've seen nothing that says like little green men or aliens. Nothing. I've seen nothing. But if it is all BS, and listen, you guys, I was 50-50, right? I was 50-50. I was like, right, this is, because it either is BS or it is not. So I was 50-50. I then flopped over to 55% it's BS. So I was like, yeah, I'm starting to think that this is BS. I've been brought back now to 50-50. So if you're still on, Chris, can you give me an answer? If it is BS, why is it? Why is that information coming out? Clarendon is saying the real fact is we don't understand what consciousness is. So you can say everything is BS. Wow, that's pretty deep. That is very deep. That's very deep for what time are we on? That's very deep for 5 to 1. Is it 5 to 1? Yeah, 5 to 1. Digital ID is saying these UFOs seem to be getting more and more fancy. They do, don't they? They do. They seem to be getting more elaborate. And Clarendon I think he's responding saying, oh, hang on a minute, Chris is back. Diversion from something bigger that's coming. I agree, that could be. I was on a group call with my friends the other day. Well, I don't know, maybe last weekend or the weekend before. Some of them are in America, and I said, listen, guys, what's happening with this UFO, this like alien, this like UFO thing? What's happening? What do you guys think is? And this is, people in America, they said, well, we think it's a distraction for something else. Don't know what it is. So maybe it is a distraction. But then the next question is, right? So think about it. Let's go down the road of this is all BS, right? Let's just go with that, right? For 1 second. And let's just play that out. Because this is just as big, right? So, for example, everything that we're seeing now is fake. It's all AI generated. It's all cloak and dagger. It's all fake news, right? As Chris is saying, it's a diversion for something bigger. What's bigger than that? You know, and it isn't. So that asks, you know, the fact that this would be all BS would actually generate more questions than it gives answers, right? So you see, when you chase this train of thought, right, I'm just going to jump to the bottom, guys. I'm jumping to the bottom, so I apologize if I'm missing anybody's comments. Tony Wilson is saying the closer you are to Earth, the faster time is, I think. Well, time compared to what? David is saying, it seems like when we start remembering stuff, it's time to either erase the planet or change the religion. What do you mean? What are we starting to remember? I don't know what we're starting to remember. Kinder is saying, so if aliens did come here, they've been traveling for like 400 years on rocket fuel just to eat us. Well, no, I wouldn't say they're traveling on rocket fuel at all. Rod Panhard is saying they're trying to manage the financial collapse where the same criminals that broke the current system get to run the new system. So they need many distractions and ways to divide people. Yeah, I will go with that. I will go with that, Rod. I will absolutely go with that. That could be that could be true. You know, I can absolutely see that. You know, but there is an old, like, nobody can deny that the old system of all the old systems have been broken, right? And that's what people don't understand. People don't, you know, again, this is one of the reasons why I keep saying Keir Starmer's not going to resign. He's there to serve a purpose, right? Because we are late in the hour, and that purpose needs to be served. And if they get someone else in, that someone else may not, you know, they may not be able to work to their timings. We are having total destruction and a total rebuilding of. It's almost like it's a new world. I don't know. Administration or something, the New World Administration. Amanda Hayes is saying no such thing as aliens. They're demons. Jesus is coming. No such thing as aliens. I've heard. You see, I just struggle with this, right? So, again, I'm going to play devil's advocate too with you, Amanda. But I totally understand your point. But let me just give you a counterpoint to that, okay? So, a couple of weeks ago, or maybe last week, I can't remember when it was, it came out on the news that there'd been a secret... It came out that there'd been a secret meeting between US government officials and high profile pastors, so like religious leaders, right, in the United States. And as the story goes, they were all brought in, you know, these pastors, they were brought in, and somebody from the government, I don't know who, came in and they said, right, listen, look, guys, I'm not making this up. This was all over the internet, and I shared the videos on this, and I actually shared what these people were saying. I'm not making this up. This is what other people have said, right? They came out and they said, right, okay, we were called in on this secret meeting. And what they told us we need to prepare our congregation or prepare answers for a UFO disclosure that's coming, where there will be proof of extraterrestrial craft, materials that are not made on this earth, and reptilian beings. That's what they said. That is literally, guys. I'm not. That is what they said. I did a video on that, and I said, "Oh, right, guys. I always." And what I said on that video is, I said, I always struggle when these people come out and they say some people were called to a secret meeting, but we don't know where it was, and we can't talk about the people who actually were on that meeting. And then, literally, I think it was the next day, they all came out and they all said, "Yeah, I was on that meeting. I was on that meeting," and that's what they told us. I was like, "Wow, Jesus Christ!" I was like, "Wow, okay, this thing might be real." So that's what dropped me over to the 55% side. At the moment, I've gone back to the 50-50 because after thinking about that for a while, I thought, wow, the United States are bringing in all the, to prepare for the religious aspect of this. And I then started to think, well, hang on a minute. That doesn't even make sense, because if I was doing the UFO disclosure, right? If I was doing so I get, the demons thing. But then I was thinking, if I was to do the UFO disclosure, who would be the first, for me, if I was, whoever, Donald Trump or whatever, start at the top, I would, my initial reaction would be, right, how do I prove that these are real? So I would get in the best scientists, right? I would go to the universities. I would go to maybe 3 or 4 international universities, maybe, I don't know, one in India, one in China, one in Britain, and I don't know, one in Japan, right? I'd say, right, guys, listen, total transparency. Next Wednesday, 3 o'clock, I don't know. I want, the Tokyo physics, Tokyo University. I want you to bring me your best professor. We'll pay for this. The United States will pay for this. It's nothing. A couple of million on a private plane. It's nothing. We'll fly you over to America. Bring your physics class, your senior year, and who are doing physics. Bring those guys over, or your top 10 students or whatever. Bring them over to the United States. We are going to present you with this information, with these craft. Bring whatever tools, request whatever tools and measuring devices or whatever you need, spectrometers, I don't know, come over and you guys can look at it. Then I want you guys to go and write a totally independent review on what this is. That's how I would do it, right? I wouldn't bring in the religious leaders first, right? I mean, listen, I'm not taking anything away to anyone who's a religious leader. I'm just saying, if I need to trust someone on how an airplane works, I'm going to go to the physicists, right? I'm going to go to the aviation guys. I'm not going to go to a religious guy. So I've gone back to 50-50 now. I've gone back to 50-50. Right. Let me get the rest of the chat and then I'm going to close this down. But listen, I promise you, I'm going to contact this guy. I've just found him on, I've just found him here. He's part of Doncaster Council. He's within driving distance, right? So I'm going to contact this guy. I'm going to reach out and contact him. This is the guy, allegedly. I'm just going to contact him and say, listen, mate, let's talk. I might be able to get him on, have a little chat with him. I'm going to email him right now. I'm going to email him right now. Right. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be closing this down now. I've got beer to bottle. I have, guys. I have got beer to bottle. I've got beer to bottle, and when that beer is bottled, I then have to leave it for 7 to 10 days, and then I can drink it. So the quicker I bottle that beer, the quicker we can. I can drink it. Tomix is saying Satan's son will make a big entrance on a UFO. I'm just naturally thinking about the new Satan 2. You know the Satan 2, the Russian rocket that Putin's just tested. Sharon is saying, well, they haven't done much for us to trust anything they say. But you know what, guys? I will give you the truth. I will absolutely give you the truth. And when tomorrow at noon comes and nothing happens, everyone's going to start going back to work and what they say to do on a day-to-day basis. Maybe. Tony Wilson is saying Alistair Crowley's probably laughing right now. He was a dark man. He was an absolute dark man. I don't even want to have his name on my screen. He was a dark man. Digital Anarchy is saying, I can manifest stuff. I'm well known for it. Right, what can you manifest? Right, listen, guys, I'm going to close you guys down. I'm going to close you guys down. I'll be back on. I think I'm going to do a shorter video later, maybe under 5 minutes. I probably won't get any comments on the chat because I just want to do a short video because there are people losing their minds at the moment about who Keir Starmer works for. And it's very easy. It's very easy to find out who Keir Starmer works for with 3 clicks on Wikipedia. And I don't know why people are still not doing that. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to close you guys down now. If you're on and you've not done so already, please hit those buttons down below. The like, comment, subscribe, bell notification, all those things that help me out, ladies and gentlemen. I will be back on maybe half an hour or something. I'm just going to do a short video about Keir Starmer. And then I will be back on at my normal time, 8 o'clock tonight, ladies and gentlemen. And I will give you guys an update on this reform councillor. Anyway, I'll catch you guys later.